Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Outerhaven YouTube channel. It is I, Getselious, and I'm here back at it again with another review suit for a game you guys I think you might like to check out. That game we talk about is Sky Ocean's Wings for Hires. Now, why would I be reviewing this game? If you have checked out the channel, you know I've been very excited about this game. I even had a chance to stream the game, and I want to give a huge shout out to PCube for providing us a copy to review and stream this game. Now, Sky Oceans is a JRPG that is based on aerial combat, and I think it's a lot of strong points in the game. It has some other things that we'll talk more about. So let's get into the review of it already. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell as well, be notified as soon as we live content, and I'm going to talk more about this great game, Sky Ocean's Wings for Hire. So Sky Ocean Wings for Hire is developed by Obscurity Studios, again I'm sorry about butchering that, and published by PCube. This game is kind of like a mishmash of like 3 or 4 RPG archetypes put together. You have your party JRPG elements, you have your customization and like systems like custom robo or mecha RPGs. It has some elements of Skies of Arcadia. It has dogfights, and it has a lot of like RPG things you may know before. Now, before I get into this game, I'll usually break it down into simple components. And the first component I usually talk about any RPG is the graphics and aesthetics. Now, graphically and aesthetically, this game is beautiful. I love the art direction, the art style, the ship designs, how the world looks, how each character looks. This game was tuned with a chef's comb of myriad of characters and colors and how the worlds look, I would say the islands look, and the ships that are built and everything. I really love this art direction and art style of these characters. I would unironically I would buy an art book, I would watch a anime or animated series of this, I would buy an art book for this, I would seriously buy graphic novels of it. This is I love this, how this looks. I like how it's presented, I like how the world looks, everything never feels out of place, the characters are identifiable, the colors are great, nothing out of here feels like it's out of tune. This polish is top notch, so I'm going to give this, the graphics and aesthetics, a hard 5. It's just beautiful. It does everything great. I can't go wrong with that. So the next thing to talk about is the audio and sound effects. So the audio of the game mostly comes through the music. The music of the game is okay. It's kind of serviceable. Nothing really out of the ordinary. There's some decent tracks here and there. The sound effects can get a bit janky at times. There's some situations that have it out of sync. They're a bit repetitive since how long the battles kind of get. And with a game like this, with this great art direction and high production value in my opinion, the voice acting only being limited to essentially battle action cutscenes and not to cutscenes in the game where characters are talking really hurts it a lot. But overall, it is serviceable, and for the audio and sound effects, I have to give it a solid 3. I mean, there's no way to get around it. It's serviceable, it does. I wish the game had voice acting in parts that weren't just the combat. I think it's really cool, but it's just how much pizzazz Productions games have. Just should have more. Now let's talk about the meat and potato of the video game. Let's talk about the gameplay. What is this gameplay doing out here? So, the gameplay of Sky Oceans Wings for Hire, a lot of people are going to make a lot of comparisons to Skies of Arcadia. I'm going to be honest with you, this game is not Skies of Arcadia. It has something for Skies of Arcadia, such as the ship battle and customization of your aircrafts, but it is not Skies of Arcadia. It lacks a lot of the themes that Skies of Arcadia presented, and I mean that as a positive thing, not as a negative. There are 2 different games, and I'm glad they're different. There's a lot of amazing immersion in this game, how characters deal with. It reminds me a lot of, I would say, of an anime I used to watch, or not an animation show I watched back in the day called Obon Star Racers. It reminds me elements of a mystery of what's going on in the world, such as the mystery of Charleon in Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, or Charleon producing it. It has a lot of elements of other RPGs, and homages does pretty well, but it stands on its own 2 feet, so I wouldn't really call this a Skies of Arcadia clone. It is not, and at its core, it is not. It is a fantastic turn-based RPG that does what it does, but it has some issues with its turn-based RPGs. One, the key component is that there isn't a tutorial within the first 2 islands to teach you how the game works, so, and you take damage, it hurts, so I kind of wish that was in the game. It kind of hurts a lot. Now, the gameplay, the battle gets a bit repetitive pretty fast, simply because once you learn that if an enemy is targeting you, evade, like in a real dogfight, then you evade, attack, evade, attack, evade, attack. That's generally how the flow kind of goes. You can customize your ships when your characters, your party members, characters, they get level up, they get art points. You can put it towards getting skills and runes to give them more abilities with the elements such as fire, wind, lightning, ice, darkness. And a lot of these elements are just kind of, I would say, in the ballpark of basic RPG stuff, such as, well, if you hit them with this element, they have this effect, etc., 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 things like that. There are some combo abilities we can stack a bunch of debuffs to enemies and nuke them, which I find pretty cool, but that's kind of about it. It's not that deep and not that impressive in a lot of mechanics. There are some other RPGs that kind of does it a bit better, but where this game lacks and it has more style. I do enjoy the little map exploration you can do around in the area of the game, and you're able to choose between many characters and their aircraft abilities. Each of them has different abilities. You can, I believe Theo has the ability to, as a character, to boost up faster, so you can go vroom vroom. You want to go vroom vroom. That's kind of fun. You go vroom vroom in the doom doom. That's kind of fun. You can do that. Windrunner can, oh god, I said Windrunner. I called him Windrunner. I'm horrible. Oh god, I'm horrible. I should have called him Windrunner, but I was like, Skywalker, his ability is that he can sense for threats and danger, which that means you can determine the enemies are around you, and it's kind of cool. And things like that can kind of increase like your chance of survival, of finding out what's going on in the area we're exploring. So I think they kind of, and you can swap between them while flying around in the overworld, or at least certain areas, which I find really, really cool. I find really, 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 really cool. I also like how expansive the party system is. There's a large cluster of characters you can play with and make your own combination of how you want to play. It's really cool. I usually stick with Theo in my runs because Theo is best girl, as well as her support abilities really does pack a punch when you need it, so I find that really cool. So that's about it. The customization of the game is pretty solid, and that's about it. But with some of the repetitive natures of the game and how the play flow works, it can get a bit daunting at times, such as you're never going to be at disadvantage once you understand how evade works. You're never going to be put in a situation where heavily you get jumped by an enemy. And the game also allows you to pre-strike enemies by targeting and shooting them, like in Star Fox games, which I find pretty cool. But overall, I have to give the gameplay a solid, it is a solid 3 out of 5. It's interesting, but not enough to change the dynamics, and doesn't really execute things pretty well. It does have some ideas I felt it should be more polished. Again, a tutorial, and maybe there could be more effects of how some of the elements work. And some of the hit rate stuff just feels like, honestly, everything's 50-50. Who knows, right? It says 84%, it'll say 90%, you can still miss. RNG is RNG. The customization of the ships doesn't lead me to desire more. It doesn't really have that much of a fundamental change of how you play the game once you learn it around between level 12 to level 20. So it doesn't really feel like there's much to it. It's a fine game, but not as deep and complex as I was hoping for, especially with the idea of aerial combat can be. So, that's about it, but it does a good job of what it does. So overall, let's talk about how I'll grade this game, the final score, what I give this game. So let's put it all together in pieces, right? So, art and aesthetic is just top-notch. This game looks beautiful. It's colorful, the characters are unique in design, this art style is just iconic in how it looks. Everyone in this universe is alive and it looks great. I cannot stress that enough how much I enjoy looking at this game. The graphics are great, the art direction is great, there's nothing more I can say about it. How it sounds is that a game with such production value really makes me sad with the limited amount of voice acting it has. I cannot believe that even if they had to record the voice acting in another language, I would take that. There are moments of this game that is gut-wrenching and emotional and deep, and you just wish there was a voice to feel that feeling. Especially with a game that is this expressive with its art style. So that kind of takes a point from it. Its gameplay is not the greatest, especially what you anticipate for an aerial fighter type game. Though it has customization and ways to increase your combat, it muddles it down to kind of the same couple of strategies you kind of use. It's not the diverse in that way. Though it does feel good to take down big ship with small ship, and some of the ship designs are really cool, and you have a wide range of characters to play with, but it's not a diversity of how you kind of play. Overall, I have to say, the final score for this game is a 3. Is it really a bad game? No. It's a game I was looking forward to, I wanted to play. I think this is one of the games that reminds me of when you're old enough and you got past the PS1 to PS2 era where everyone's showing hot graphics and the gameplay was just mid. And being mid isn't a bad thing. It's like, it's just okay. And this game kind of has it. It has all the style and pizzazz, but its gameplay and its cores, a lot of it's kind of midding. A little bit mid. Is it a bad game? Absolutely not. But in my honest opinion, is it a get it now game? No. You know what? It's not a bad game. This is a game that I have to say, it's just okay. It's okay at what it does. Would I pick this game up right now? Does it need a patch? I haven't found any glitches or things that are broken for it, and I haven't ran into situations where I accidentally softlocked myself or anything else, but it's definitely not get it now. This is a game I recommend wait for a sale. It's okay, I recommend for a sale. You have that RPG itch for a skyfaring game, you could probably check it out. But overall, I did enjoy my time playing this game. I think the game is excellent as an art piece. It's very interesting. Again, this was an anime, or a TV series, a comic book. I would gladly pick up and read it. I deeply enjoy it for what it is. I just feel a little bit kind of disappointed in how the action is played across, and I feel a little bit disappointed in how the action is played across. I feel a little disappointed about how this game has great production and limited voice acting, especially in lots of cutscenes in the game that has such emotional reading it that I teared up reading it. This is a well-written game, but it needs a little more. If it had voice acting put over the moon, and its combat isn't as great. It's stylish, but isn't as great as I hoped it to be, or I wished it to be, simply because I have different ideas when it comes to dogfighting or aerial fight RPG type games. And I'm not talking about just make everything Star Fox, okay? Star Fox had his time in the sun, that's about it. There's other ways around it. Though there's a lot of things this game took a lot in, and that they did a good job in. I'm actually looking forward to if they ever make a sequel to this game, or if there is, a sequel in the universe of this game, or any other game that Obscurity Studios decides to make. So I want to give a shout out once again to PQ to providing us a copy to play and review this game. If you want to check out my, raw impressions of the game, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. I have a live stream while I'm playing it for roughly up to 2 hours. You can check it out from there. It's really amazing. And if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope to see you all in the next one. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I wish you all a fantastic day. And I'll see you all in the skies. Goodbye, everybody.